to the channel. Today I want to do a review and a very in-depth look at everything to do with Strangers of Paradise. Probably going to be a little bit of a lengthy video. I hope you stick around for it because I think this game is amazing and I'm going to tell you why. First and foremost, I have to say that this was provided to me by Square Enix for free early access. A big huge shout out to them. It doesn't change my opinion on the game whatsoever. I have genuinely enjoyed and had a lot of fun with this game. Now, if you don't really want to know all the in-depth stuff and you don't want to look into it further, I will say that this is worth the money for me personally, and I've only been playing 12 hours on the lowest difficulty, but I have enjoyed my time within the game a lot because there's a lot of things in this game to look into and change and make unique to you, so you have your own good gaming experience. If I had to give it a rating, I would say 8 out of 10, pushing towards 9 out of 10, just because solely the world exploration isn't the best it could be in the world. It's quite linear. I call it multi-linear because there's a lot of A to B points, but you can go different pathways. Those pathways can lead to some different types of enemies, a little bit more difficult enemies, some better rewards. So it's not a total waste of time. If it was just like a really good exploration, open world, or at least open map on each instance, I probably would say this is a 10 out of 10 game for me personally. So first and foremost, let's look at the UI and the settings and stuff, you know, the accessibility and stuff like that. It's not going to be too long, so don't worry, we'll get into proper gameplay soon. The layout when you're on the world map is very simple. You've got all the things that you need. You're editing your party, you're editing your character, job trees, you know, items. Literally everything is right here in your face. The tips, the tutorials are very good, very intrinsic. You know, it's just very well done within the game, and you can pick and choose what you want to do in terms of tutorial as well. Now for the system settings, there's a lot here to look into, and by the way, I'm going to be saying throughout this video there's a lot here, a lot of times. But mostly the best thing for me is that you can change your controller. You can change up all the buttons. I haven't done that yet. I'm probably going to, because I have some injuries in my wrists and there's a few things that I need to be more accessible to myself. But even playing on something as the generic control, I've been able to do it pretty well. It feels nice, it feels fluid. It's an awesome option, but you know, the standard controls are also really good too. You can change up, you know, your online settings, your audio settings, your camera settings, you know, all the stuff that you would expect to see. You know, it's just really good. There's a lot here to look into. There's, you know, you can just applaud them for great accessibility and a great UI as well, which is quite rare in games nowadays. So on the map, you can see that I am pretty much about 8-9 missions in to the main story. I'm playing it on the difficulty story, which is the lowest difficulty. However, it's not just like super easy as you think it might be. Usually the kind of trash enemies, and I say that in quotation marks, are a little bit easier, but the boss fights I've still died on multiple times. I've also switched the difficulty up for some bosses to the higher ones and got absolutely trounced and stomped. So if you're looking for a challenge, there is challenge in this game. If you're looking to just have an enjoyable experience playing the story, that is also an option too, but it's not super easy. I think they've done the difficulty levels really well, and they've allowed accessibility to gamers who don't want to be crazy intense and just sweat out a game. It's all available to you, and you know, you can pick and choose what you want. It's pretty awesome. So when you go and highlight a mission, you've got usually two options. You have to do the main mission first, and then a secondary side mission will unlock. As you can see, I can press LB and RB to go through to them. The main mission will basically take you to an instance, a new map where you're with your team of 2, and you can only have 3 at a time. We'll talk about it in a second. And you go pretty much from A to B. You can take whatever pathways you want. You can find hidden things and stuff like that. Once you kill the boss, it finishes the map for you. You continue the story. When you go back in on a side mission, it usually spawns you somewhere else in the map rather than where you spawned on the main mission. And you have to go and do some sort of, you know, mission or something to do, like go and kill 3 tomberries, and then you have to scale the entire map. You have to go and look around and explore to find where all these enemies are and kill them and such things. Or usually there's like one big enemy that you have to go and kill, and they're hidden off somewhere and you have to go find them. So this is kind of where the little bit of exploration comes in, is in the side missions. And as you can see, the UI is really good on all the main mission and side missions. It actually tells you what you've completed and what you haven't. It gives you your mission level, your average equipment level. If you are too low, it will be red numbers. I think you can still enter, but if you want to change it up, then you go into your battle settings and you change up all your armor and stuff. It shows you your completion rewards and the main item drops, so you can see before you even go in what's going to drop for you. And anima shards and magicite there are basically materials for you to use for crafting, and the anima shards specifically for leveling up your jobs quicker. So if you don't want to spend too long with one job, you can use your anima shards on it. Now you can also do these online. So if you go back into this section and go over to the online section, you can either create a room where you can specify a mission. So you can go in and pick, this is my latest mission, I can pick this, come out and it will show me there. So I can even change the difficulty as well. So if I'm playing on a higher difficulty, I can create it at that difficulty too. You can change up your play styles, so you can have people come in who are casuals or super sweaty in the adamantites. You know, you got different, like there's so much here to go into even in online. And basically what will happen is when you create a room, someone will join you when they are searching for a room. I don't know how intrusive it is because no one's ever connected to me, but the fact that I connected to someone pretty instantly, I would say it's not too intrusive, but don't quote me on that. The online's really good. I believe you get slightly more rewards when you're, you know, a team, and it's just going through and doing the main story mission, but you got other people there. There's no need to talk like to or communicate with anyone. So if you just want an extra player there smacking the hell out of things, the option's there. So let's just talk about your party setup and your job setup and stuff like that. So as you go through the game, you're going to unlock a few extra characters, and I'm sorry if there's any spoilers here right on screen right now, but you start off with basically you, Jed and Ash, and as you go through, extra people will join you. As you go through and do side missions, you'll unlock certain things as well, so being able to change their specific jobs will become available by doing side missions. So there's reason to go and do everything in this game. You can edit your party and change their classes. Now, one class for Jed might not be available on one of the other characters, so you know, you can really pick and choose who you want, what setup you want to have. So if you're fighting as a pugilist and you're getting in close, you can have them back as a ranged class. So you know, there's just a lot to go into here and kind of build around. So let's just look at pretty much the battle settings for myself, and then we'll look at the job trees as well. So very quickly, you have basically two classes available to you at any one time. I'm going pugilist mage because I want to be up close and I want to be at range 2. However, a lot of my up close ones I have leveled up to 30, so I'm just trying to get through and level up all different classes that I can. And just underneath where it says pugilist, you can see a whole bunch of items and percentage numbers. This is your job affinity. Now, if I go over here to the right, you can see that being a pugilist and having 80% gives me all of these extra bonuses up till this point. And then if I want to get to 400% or I get to 400%, then I can, you know, have more options across literally everything in the game. So job affinity is built through both your skill tree and the armors that you're wearing, and each and every single item will have different job affinities to them and different percentages. And also as well, the job affinities on certain things might not actually even line up with the extra enhanced abilities that come with it. So you might get abilities for the black mage, but the job affinity will be marauder. So you really have to go through and get loads of items and find specific perfect roles for your character. So let's have a look at these raptor claws, for instance. If I go down to the basic normal ones, which are equipped on one of my side characters, I got slash damage dealt plus 0.5%, damage dealt at max break, and stamina. Really good, really good. I go up to these raptor claws, which are a gold rarity, and it enables me the option to use Death Claw, which is one of my combo abilities, which I'll tell you about in a second. But this is not available on pretty much any other item. Again, raptor claws, green, that I've got equipped to me, enables Spiraling Claw, so that's a different ability. So there's a lot of things to pick up and get and make sure that, you know, it lines up with your character and what you're using. However, my job affinity here is for Monk, 28%. So near perfect. If that was a pugilist job affinity, it would be really good because it would push my pugilist up to 100%, and then I'd get an extra perk. So going through absolutely everything is, you know, there's a lot here to dive into and build and stuff. So I don't even have a helmet on. I have recently just dismantled a whole bunch of stuff because I'm going to go grinding soon and try and get things, but you can see that there's a lot of different items here with different equipment effects and different job affinities. So if you really want to get really deep into perfecting, min-maxing all your classes on all your characters, you can do so. And there's also presets as well, so you can have presets set up for each individual class. Combo abilities are tied to your shoulder button, so RB, RT. You can just spam RB and do light attacks. RT are basically your heavy attacks, or you could do these combos that you see on screen and it will end in an ability. So a lot of abilities you get from the skill tree can only be equipped to certain combos. So double uppercut can only go on RB/RT. So if you feel like you want to knock enemies into the air, this will be what you use. However, you can put any other ability on it. You just can't put double uppercut anywhere else. That spiraling claw, which I didn't mean to put on, the spiraling claw, which is solely tied to my gloves that I have, the gauntlets, can be equipped anywhere. So, you know, if you want to do aerial hook, you can do that. That's only available to this combo, or you can equip the thing that you are using, you know, on your gauntlets. So there's a lot of things to mix up and change up and find a perfect setup for you in terms of abilities. Now, abilities use MP. As you can see, there's a little pink line there. And you build up MP during a fight. So you go in and, you know, you start off with 2 pink bars and you can use 2 abilities before you run out. And then you can build that up as you go. If you play on story mode, you never lose that MP. If you play on the higher difficulties, you lose them every time you die and stuff like that. And when you use certain abilities, it takes MP away from you. If you play on story mode, you don't have to worry about that. You can just use abilities as you gain your purple MP bar. Command abilities are unlocked on your skill trees. As you can see here, the seal of blood that I have is from my mage. Yeah, my black mage. And it increases the damage dealt of the next ability. This can be used on any class, so I can use this on my pugilist, I can use this on my lancer, so I can pop this, getting a bit of extra damage. And there's a lot of things to unlock. So like venom came from my duelist, and it allows me to put venom onto my weapons, and while I'm attacking people, it causes poison on them. I don't use these as much as I should, but I'm probably going to learn how to implement them into my builds and stuff. Lightbringer is a thing that you get from the very start of the game. It just helps you stun people quicker and finish off mobs of enemies quicker. So, you know, even though you might not use certain jobs, you still can use their command abilities on any class, which is pretty cool. Now, if you go to your smithy, you can basically dismantle all the things that you don't need. So if I go to here, it gives me, you know, extra dim spheres, powders of all that kind of thing. Any blue weapon that you get rid of will give you blue weapon materials. Any purple weapons you get rid of will give you purple weapon materials. So you have to get as much stuff as you can to be able to dismantle them for the specific materials it takes to upgrade rarities of that color. And also the same with the armors. So if we go into specifically that warlord I was talking about, it enables rapid needle, which again is a specific thing to that class, to that weapon, sorry. So, you know, the equipment effects here are actually really good across the board, but I can go in and I can make them better. So if I wanted to just put it from 0.4% to 0.5%, I need 15 orbs of courage and 4 flawless spheres. If I wanted to do all of it, I'd need a hell of a lot more material. So I'm gonna have to go out and find more purple weapons, dismantle them so I have enough stuff to build up what I want to build up. Now, I really think the kind of building up of weapons and armors and stuff are going to be pretty much end game rather than, you know, early stuff, because you get so much stuff thrown at you, you're constantly changing it anyway. But if you have a certain setup that you like and a certain weapon that you like, you can very much upgrade them if you wish to. Last but not least, let's look at those very, very, very cool skill trees. Now, you start off with only a couple, right? And then as you're going through, you unlock more through gameplay, and then you'll eventually get to a point where you can only unlock further classes by completing one job. So for instance, if I go over to my my swordsman, which is what you start as, you can see that, you know, there's a lot of skills that you can get. So you unlock certain combos which can be attached to those combos like I was showing before. So this can only be RBRT, and you get onslaught. You get more affinity with whatever job you're using, which gives you more passive bonuses. There's a lot of stuff here, but as you go down to the bottom, you can see that there is a chance for me now to unlock new classes, new jobs. I've already done it, but we'll go into it a little bit better. So here, new job Berserker, it tells you what it does, but at the bottom it says jobs required to unlock: Swordsman, Marauder. So even though I get to this point on my Swordsman, the class won't open until I do Marauder also. So if I go over to Marauder, you can see that down here, Berserker is available once I get there, but I can also get to half of the Dragoon, because then I need to do Lancer to finish off to get Dragoon. So if I go down to the Lancer and go all the way to the bottom, we've got Dragoon there, which I'll unlock. But then there's also the Monk, and for the Monk, I also need to do the Pugilist, which is what I'm doing currently. And I'm pretty close. Oh no, I've already done it. I've just recently done it because I forgot that I did some last night. But as you can see, there's so much here. Now every time you use a class, you get job points for that class specifically, obviously, but you also get, you know, some XP to level up on all of your equipped things that you have at the time. So if you have Pugilist Mage, your Mage is going to be leveling up at the same time as your Pugilist, but if you're using Pugilist, it will gain more XP as you're using it. So there is a lot of stuff here. There's a lot of jobs to use. There's some things that I haven't even got through yet, like White Mage can then unlock Sage and Paladin. Black Mage can unlock half the Dark Knight and half of the Sage. Dragoon can get me the Breaker, which I need, I think, a couple of jobs for, maybe, I'm not sure. Yeah, Berserker, Samurai, Dragoon to be able to get to the Breaker, or Liberator. Like, there's so much stuff to go through and unlock and do and use. Like Ninja as well, there's going to be a hell of a lot of things to just do in this game. I thought that I'd unlocked the majority of things. I'm probably about halfway through. It's insane, and I can't wait to get through and find the best class for me and use all the things that I want to use. But let me know what you're thinking down below in the comment section about this job system. Is this something you enjoy? Is there a lot here for you to dive into?
Come on, but watch yourselves.
So I'm just going to quickly show you a bit about how battling works. Now I'm in the lowest possible place that I can be, so it's not going to be very difficult for me. But you can see in the bottom underneath Jack, Sophia and Ash, there's 2 pink bars. That's my MP bar that I was talking about. Now you want to build that up as you're going. So if you go over to this little guy and he starts to attack you, you can use your soul shield to absorb a hit, and as you can see, that pink bar's gone up by a little tiny bit now. So the more you're doing this through a game, the more MP you're going to get. And then you finish people off as well, and you get a whole bunch more. So you can see that just from that one little fight, I've pretty much almost got 3 MP bars, which allows me to use more of my you know, abilities. See, now I've got no MP, so I need to go kill more things, shatter them into crystals, and get that MP bar higher and bigger and refilled as I'm going. There's also obviously parry systems and stuff, but you really just I haven't found any use, to be honest, for parry right now. Maybe on the bigger bosses towards the end of the game it'll become important. And as you can see, as I'm going through, I'm actually getting a lot of MP. I've leveled up my jobs a couple of times. So that guy just used stone throw on me, and I used that soul shield absorb, and now I have access to that stone throw. If you look in the bottom right hand corner, it says stone throw ×3 with an X. So a lot of, you know, projectile based moves that are used against you, you can actually absorb and use them against enemies. Some of them are actually really useful. They hit break a lot, so you can see this guy's breaks all the way down now just from using those 3 tosses, and then I can finish him off and get my MP back. So there's also things that you can do specifically to like certain enemies. If they fire at you, the little grenade balloon things, they fire at you, you can absorb it and throw it back at them. And usually in games like I've passed, you hit them a couple of times and they grow bigger and they grow bigger and they grow bigger until they explode. However, you can stand right back with the fire that you've absorbed from them, throw it at them, and now self-destruct away from you, and you'll still get everything that you need. So there's a lot here when it comes to kind of like systems and stuff. Now mages work a little bit different. You can build up all the things you want to do. You can do fire arga or whatever, and it throws it out like so. I've just accidentally wasted my MP. I didn't mean to do that. So, you know, most like kind of classes like the pugilist, it's like attack, do some combos and stuff, evade out, things like that. Specifically the mage is quite different from everything else. So if I switch to my mage, you can see that I can stand back here and hold the right trigger. Now when I hold the right trigger, you're going to see all the magic spells pop up and a blue circle going around. So if you just want to do a normal fire, you have to let go of it before it gets to fire, and let go of it before it gets up to the top where it's fire arga. Now when you're here, you just move the left stick around to whatever you want to use. So let's say I wanted to use Blizzaga, and then you use the right stick to move around where you want to actually throw that spell. The higher the magic spell, the bigger the kind of place, the bigger area of effect, that's the word I'm looking for, will happen. So if I throw this out now, it will cover that whole area. Also, there's things like flare, and I think there's another one as well. I can't remember, but flare. So if I use this, if you look in the bottom left hand corner, I will lose a chunk of my MP bar because this is a super high level spell. You know, it does a lot of damage to a lot of things. So you have to really pick and choose what you're doing. And if you want to just use like just fire, you can just tap it. I don't have any MP at the moment, but you just tap it and it uses it. Or, you know, you can let it go at fire and use fire as well. So, you know, being a mage is pretty cool too. With the magic as well, you can just right click and it will lock onto an enemy. So it'll just throw it at a specific enemy. But usually if there's a whole group, you want to try and throw it in the middle of them. So mage is pretty damn cool, very easy to figure out and use. You just have to be careful to get your spell out as quick as possible before things start attacking you. Now here's one of those bombs that I was talking about, so I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. So I can absorb it and throw it back and it will grow. So I can throw it again and it will grow. Throw the last one and it will self-destruct. So I still get all the rewards from it, except I'm just using its move against it, which can come in very, very, very helpful. At any one time, you can heal yourself as long as you have enough potions by pressing down on the D-pad. So it's just a really intuitive, cool combat. You know, you can break boxes and stuff and get a little bit of MP back here and there. I just love this game. I think it's so goddamn good. I'll throw some gameplay on of like a boss or something while we finish up this review. But let's talk about the game overall. I haven't enjoyed a game like this in a very long time. You know, I played Elden Ring, and while I appreciate the game and love the game, there was just so much randomness to it that I didn't really enjoy it, but it's still an incredible game. For me personally, this game is something that is very, very enjoyable to me, and it's an incredible game in the same vein. Graphics are incredible, story is incredible, voice acting is incredible. The battle system is very fluid and intrinsic and just really, really cool to use. You know, there's so much choice in terms of what job you're going to use, what armors you're going to use, what weapons are you going to use, what abilities are you going to use, and then your teammates that are there too can also be changed around to how you want them to play. And then there's online as well, where you can join someone else who, you know, you're going to get more rewards, and it all just kind of flows together, very cyclical. Like you do one thing, you get all these rewards, you check those rewards, you match them up to what you want. The ones you don't want, you dismantle, then you can use those materials to enhance the ones that you do like. It's so goddamn cool. And I've only been playing for 12 hours on the lowest story mode, and I just feel like I'm not even halfway through the game. And on top of that as well, the end game stuff of build crafts and getting things absolutely min-maxed is going to be absolutely insane. So as I said at the top of this video, this game for me is one of the best games in recent history that I've played. You know, on par with Sifu, because Sifu was really good too. It's a surprise for me as well, because I didn't say this at the start of the game, but I did not like the demo. I played the demo for this and I was like, this Final Fantasy isn't really for me. And then when I gave access to the game early for free by Square Enix, shout out to Square Enix, I just fell in love with it, and I've been playing it ever since. Like every other game in my mind has just fell to the wayside because I just want to play this all the time. So if you're thinking about, you know, getting this game, hopefully this video helps you make that decision. I genuinely think it's worth the price tag. I genuinely think it's worth experiencing. I think any level of player can sit down and play this game and absolutely enjoy it. The only kind of thing that I can put down about the game is that there isn't enough exploration to what I want it to be. Because I love the game so much, I want more exploration. However, the exploration in this game is great in itself, but just for me, I just want more. I want more of this game. So 8 out of 10 for me, and that's just me being really critical because it's exceptional. If there's a few little tiny things changed, it would be a 10 out of 10 for me easily, and probably one of the best Final Fantasy games I've ever played. And that's saying a lot. If you know me, you know I love Final Fantasy. I would say this was pretty much up there with 7 for me. 7 remake, like it's that good. Anyway, thank you for watching. I've been easynow. You guys have been awesome.